Do you want to know how to avoid the Christmas crash? The U.S. Department of Transportation statistics tells us that on average 1,700 people die in car crashes between December 12th and December 31st. Welcome to episode 23 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast. With us today is veteran crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Pehl and Natasha Johnson, who, as the keeper of enrichments, has a winter observation from one of our students. Natasha?
Yes, I do indeed. This one is from Livia out of Sauk Centre. She said, "My mom said the scariest moment for her was during the winter. She was on the interstate headed to work, and the roads were very slippery. So she decided to take the back roads. She went up the ramp, but when she tried to stop, she was not able to and ended up rolling through the stop sign and crossed the road and went down the ramp and entered back onto the interstate. Luckily, there were no cars, so she was fine." That sounds pretty scary.
Yes.
Yes, I think everybody would be afraid of that one. So first of all, winter's coming in the States. I mean, in most states are going to have some kind of a freezing rain, snow, whatever. So time to start learning now before that happens. It's already happened in other ones. And our statistic wise on the first snowfall, first ice fall, first ice freezing on the roads is like 300 times what it is in the average, because people need to learn how to do it again, how to stop on ice, stop on snow. And what she did was she came to up her exit ramp too fast. And when it was time to stop, she hit the brakes, she hit the ice. Your car does not stop on ice. All right. So fortunately for her, she slid all the way through an intersection. And that's where our deadly T-bones happen, is when you're going through an intersection. And she ended up back on the down ramp going back onto the freeway. So remember this, for you ones that have been through our training, to the right, to the right, to the right. We talk about our best friend, the ditch, and you are better off in that ditch before you slide through any intersection. You're better off taking that car, and you mentally have to prepare yourself for that, or you will not do that. You need to consistently be reminding yourself when you come up to stop signs, if your car does not stop, what are you going to do? Because if you wait until the deer in the headlight moment starts, you will not do it. So it's a mind going over. I'm coming up. What would I do right now if my car didn't stop? I'm going to go into the ditch. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. If you're not practicing that every day you drive, you won't do it when it does happen, if it does happen. And that's what happened there. Remember this. If you do not have anti-lock brakes, and in today's world, most of the cars have anti-lock brakes, but we probably still have, not probably, we have millions of cars that are older than 2008s without anti-lock brakes. And anti-lock brakes, if you do not have anti-lock brakes, your car will not turn on ice when you stop. So you can turn your wheels all the way with your brakes on, and you are going to go straight. And unless you release that brake, then what wheels are going to start to turn then. So remember, that's where it comes into pumping the brakes. Those are the old ways we taught. We actually do still teach that in our winter classes.
Mike, one thing I was going to say is I remember one time I'm driving on a 4-lane freeway about, it was 11 o'clock at night, and it had that sleety snow, and I was driving on it, and I went under a bridge, and it was so icy that I did a 180 and therefore the grace of God, there was no car around me, because the 4 lanes, I took up the whole 4 lanes as I spun around.
There she goes.
Because bridges are not so good.
Yeah, and it happens, and it does happen very, very quickly. So like I say, again, we need to be smarter when that time comes. Driving conditions change. They change all the time. It could be a really hard downpour of rain. It can be snow. It can be sleet. It could be ice. And we need to be prepared for whatever it is. In every kind of condition. It's not just winter. It's not. It's a torrential downpour where you cannot see the front of the car because the windshield wipers are going so fast. People need to slow down. Maybe it's time. I don't want to say you should pull over and stop on that, because when your car's pulled over, you become a very bad target that could be deadly. So, we need to know the situations we're in when we're in it. Let's get back to that statistic. Christmas time, holiday season, 17 days, 1,700 people die in car crashes. Why? Because it takes two to crash. It takes one to prevent. It takes one to change the crash. All right. Doesn't mean the crash isn't going to happen. It means we're going to take the severity or the seriousness of that crash, and we're going to try and make that where we all can survive it. That's why you need to look at our tips, our 5 tips to stay alive in the car, because this stuff happens, and 1,700 is going to happen coming up soon. And now if you do the math on that, that's 100 a day during the Christmas days. You know what? That's not a Merry Christmas. And it doesn't only affect the people that die in the cars. Think of all the relatives that holiday season, that it becomes forever. It doesn't go away. I mean, it's a serious tragedy that first year. Oh my gosh, you know what happened to the family, blah, 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 blah. But guess what? Every year, and 10 years later, we're going to talk about it. So you know what? We need to become smarter defensive drivers. And remember this: every day you drive, every day you get in a car to drive it, to ride in it, to do whatever, people are not doing the same thing you're doing. People are thinking about the billboard sign. They're thinking about the mall traffic. They're thinking about what I'm going to buy Jane and Natasha for Christmas. All that stuff is going on inside the car, inside the conversations, and nobody's talking about the disaster that's about to happen in 30 seconds. So you know what? Those conversations can wait. If you're the driver, you need to stay focused on what's going on in front of you, behind you, beside you, and then hopefully you will steer clear of the Christmas Day Grinch. How's that?
Yes. Well, that's good information, Mike. And I know also drive to the speed of the weather, not necessarily what's on on the mileage or on the highway, what it says. Anyway, all right. That's it for today's episode. Thank you again, Mike, for your good information. Thank you, Natasha, for the great observation that helped us with our content today. And we are happy that you all joined us for throwing your parents under the bus. And if you want to watch other episodes, we would like it if you can subscribe to our youtube.com/DriveSafeRideSafe, 1 the number, so that you can see all of our podcasts and share them with your friends and family, because we want you to be safe. Because remember to
drive safe and
ride safe.
.com, and have a great holiday season.